Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be doing something slightly different. Now, a lot of you will remember what Chris Ingham did. This is why we started the channel in the first place, right? Because of what Chris Ingham did. And if you don't know, he inappropriately messaged some teenage girls, and the rest is history, isn't it, Chris? So if you were around back then, or since, you might have seen the infamous No Hell No video. And what am I talking about by that? That is the apology. It's not an apology video. It's a reason for my silence was the title of this video. At the time, it came out, I think it was about 6 weeks maybe after the allegations first came out, and Chris had been relentlessly harassed, and he'd been called all sorts of names, and he wasn't happy about it, and his family were getting harassed and things like that, and they were getting sponsor deals whipped away from them and things like that. So he put out a reason for my silence video, which had nothing at all to do with his guilt, apparently. But today, for the first time ever, I'm going to react to the video, because I realised back then I didn't do reaction videos, and I thought I have a few things to say about it, and I thought I would let you know what I think about it, right? I think it's a good idea. So for the first time ever, I'm going to give my opinion. And let's go through this together, because you might have forgotten. Christmas time brings Christmas merch to the Raccoon store. Brand new Christmas designs are here for you, and you can get them in any shape, colour, design, different products, all outstanding designs designed by my good self. And if you would like to purchase one of these fantastic designs on one of these fantastic products, please click the link in the description box below. Support the channel, it's so much appreciated. Thank you all so much. Back to the video.
Okay, so I'm going to be talking to you right now about a few of the things that have been going on behind the scenes with me and my family over the past couple of months, and more importantly, the reason for my silence throughout the whole of the last 2 months.
Now, if it sounds very much like he's in some sort of basement, it's because he kind of was, or he was on the steps of this. They were staying in this Australian apartment complex at the time, and it was very echoey, almost like he's in the basement or sat on the steps of this concrete apartment complex. It was a little bit weird and a little bit scary.
With regard to this specific topic, this is the one and only time I am ever going to address this. After this video, I am not going to be addressing this again. A lot of people out there have wrongly jumped to so many conclusions about me, wrongly and ignorantly named and labelled me so many things, twisted so much and made so many presumptions about so many things that are just completely wrong.
Exactly which things are completely wrong, Chris? Because as far as I'm aware, yes, you did message a 16-year-old, barely 16-year-old. She was only 16 by about a few weeks. You know, asking her various things, like you're going to come over to her hotel room and things like that, or you want her to sneak out of her room to come and meet you in the middle of the night. Those things did actually happen, so that's not completely false, is it?
And disgusting. So let me start from the top. The only reason that I have stayed quiet and not addressed this until now was because of the advice given to me by our legal team. We have some of the best lawyers in the country that support me, that support us as a family, that support our business. And their advice from the very start of this was that we were to put out an initial statement on my Twitter, which I did, and then I was to say absolutely nothing. I wasn't to address this on my channel or otherwise. I wasn't to rise to any hate on any level, no matter how bad it was.
And actual lawyers told you to do this. The world's best legal team advised Chris to say nothing, and they continued saying nothing for the next 7 years, and it didn't go away. the advice was most likely don't say anything that's incriminating because it could get you into a lot of trouble, and yet nobody gave any regard to the fact that their entire business empire was about to crumble, right? Because they said nothing. That is the fault, well, firstly of Chris, but also of the legal team for giving you poor advice.
And believe me, that alone has been one of the hardest things I have ever had to do. The safety of my family, and more importantly, our children, has been our priority over any other. And due to the nature of the things that people online have portrayed me as being, taking and acting on the advice of our legal team in this has been the most important thing for us to do. That alone is the only reason I have stayed quiet.
So your legal team's advice when being called a predator, a groomer, and all that, was to say nothing because it would compromise the safety of your children and your wife. Is that what was actually being said? Because what I would have done in this situation was, firstly, I wouldn't have got myself into this situation. But people have done it up and down YouTube for many years. Chris, you're not the first person to have done it, but you are the only one not to have addressed it indefinitely, because most people would have, in order to try and save face or to apologise or to just try and reel back the public opinion in your favour. But instead you chose to say nothing at all, which has been more damaging than the things you did in the first place. Because what you should have done is sit yourself down, much like you're doing right now, and just say, this is what happened, I'm sorry, I got it wrong, I took things too far, I shouldn't have gone as far as I did, and I'm a bad person. I'm going to take myself away off YouTube for a little bit. I'm going to reflect upon my actions, and then I'm going to come back as a better person, right? That's what you should have done. Something along those lines, right? I've heard the story many times from many different YouTubers, so it is pretty much a standard thing to do. But Chris, you just chose to do nothing
on this and not address this until now. The only reason, nothing to do with being guilty, nothing to do with being ashamed or anything else, any of the other ideas that I've seen and read about me over the last couple of months, nothing. The only reason we've stayed quiet on this until now is because we've been acting on the advice of our legal team, and that's it.
You no longer are acting on the advice of your legal team because they are no longer your legal team anymore, since you can't afford to pay for them, right? So maybe you could, I don't know, open up now, 7 years down the line, you could just tell us what actually happened. Or, you know what you could do? You could write a book about it and sell it. Chris Ingham, in his own words, about what actually happened. Or you could just say nothing.
So let me make this very clear. Have I ever done anything that could be classed as sexually grooming somebody? No. Hell no.
Now, this is a very important point, obviously. Has he done anything that could be classed as sexually grooming somebody? I think he's been very careful with his words, in that he's not done it with an underage girl. That is very important. In the UK, the age of consent here is 16, and he knows that. The girl that he did sexually groom, right, was 16. Well, that's one of the girls that he groomed, was 16. And so technically, on a very technically, he didn't. But he did, actually.
Of course I haven't. Am I a paedophile? No. Hell no.
Go on, Chris. Say it. Say what you mean. Say it from the pit of your stomach and rise to the top and tell us exactly what you mean. Right, so is he in this country? He's not classed as one, right? Because it's 16. However, it's a grey area because what he did rolled over to Florida, where the age of consent is 18. So what he did would be classed as that particular act in the US, or in Florida at least. So, you know, it's a very grey area, and he's been very lucky to an extent that he didn't do that over. Well, he did do that over there, but he didn't get caught over there doing it.
Am I a sexual predator? No. No.
We didn't even get a no, hell no on that one. Well, yeah, that must be the most closest to the truth. Is he a sexual predator? Yes. Hell yes, I think. In his mind, he knows, doesn't he? He definitely knows. He's not putting as much forcefulness behind that one.
Have I ever done anything that could be classed as being sexually inappropriate to anybody? No.
Well, I mean, okay, so what you did message somebody was... do you want to go skinny dipping? I'm not sure if in your mind if that's sexually inappropriate, but certainly to me it comes across that way. Don't know about everybody else. Comment down below if you think that that's inappropriate, or sexually inappropriate in fact, or maybe, I don't know, do you want to sleep with me? Alright, I don't know if you actually asked that actual question, but it seems to me like, you know, the conversation must have come up at least, anyway.
And now enough is enough.
Enough wasn't enough though, was it, Chris? That was August 2018, and we are currently in November of 2025, 7 years later. Nobody heeded the warning, was it, Chris?
Now I want to talk to you guys about the relentless harassment that is happening to my family day in, day out at the minute. I can almost understand, knowing the way that the internet works, knowing the way the world works, how when a group of people feel like someone has done something so wrong that people like to jump on a bandwagon, people like to get involved and put their two penneth in, put their opinion across, and it's very easy to do so from behind the screen of a phone or the screen of a computer. Very, very easy.
Right, okay, but what do you expect them to do? Jump in a car and come over to your house and tell you?
I don't agree with it whatsoever. In fact, I think it's absolutely disgusting that people do that.
You don't agree with it, Chris? You think it's horrible, the fact that people have opinions on your inappropriateness? Well, don't do the thing if you don't want the thing being exposed, innit?
But I understand, and I know that it happens, because I know the way the world works. I know the way social media works. But the one thing in all of this that really disturbs me is the complete and utter lack of regard for my children in all of this. Those poor, innocent girls that don't deserve any of this.
Your poor, innocent girls? You poor, innocent girls? Did you have any regard to your poor, innocent girls as you were taking a 21-year-old fan into Ibis and having sex with her, and then going back and picking up your poor innocent girls from school and taking them home and being all lovey-dovey daddy? You know, did you have any regard to them then? Did you have any regard to your poor innocent girls when you, I don't know, sent those messages to a 16-year-old asking her to sneak out of her room in the middle of the night to come and meet you so that you can possibly get up to some skinny dipping antics and things like that? Your poor innocent girls didn't deserve that though, did they, Chris?
Those poor girls that are currently having their lives tainted and ruined in ways that none of you could imagine.
But you did that to them, Chris. You did it. Take some accountability for once. That was you, all you. Yes, people are coming after you for what you did. Obviously they are. You know, but if you're not going to take accountability, why should anybody else?
from behind your phone screens or behind your keyboards at home. All of you keyboard warriors at home behind your phone screens throwing out every single disgusting statement onto the internet that you can think of, especially onto Twitter, YouTube, using my name in every wrong and disgusting way that you can right now.
Which part upset you, Chris? Was it being called out for the things that you did? Was it the girls who came forward and called you out and exposed you? Did that upset you? Was it the hate that you most likely got from Sarah that upset you most? Because I can imagine she can pack a punch or two, right? Or was it the upset that the girls, your girls that is, had when they realised that Daddy was a little bit of a wrong'un?
Yet without a single second's thought to the seriousness and the damage that you're causing on the other side of it. Not just to my life, and not just to Sarah's life, but more importantly, to my girls' lives.
And you have a responsibility, Chris. You have a responsibility to your own children's lives. And yet you chose to say nothing. You didn't have to take your legal team's advice. You could have tried to fix the situation. Or better still, you could not have created the situation in the first place, right?
The past 2 months, without a shadow of a doubt, have been the most testing and difficult months of my entire life. I guarantee that no matter what I go through in my life from now onwards, nothing will be tougher than the last 2 months that I've been through. We could have lost our business, something that Sarah and I, and the girls even, have all together collectively killed ourselves over.
You're giving the girls some credit here for killing themselves over making money for you, Chris. Does that not tell you something? Does it not?
For the last 2 years, so that we could give our children a better future, a future that we could have never imagined being able to give them before. We could have lost our home, we could have lost our family, our marriage.
You could have lost your marriage! You could have lost your marriage! You cheated on your wife, Chris! You cheated, you did that. You did that. Alright? The reason why you could have lost your marriage is because you cheated on your wife with a 21-year-old fan. Right? And aside from that, you had little encounters or near encounters with other, even younger girls than that. It seems like to the outsider that your marital problems may have been caused by yourself.
Our friends, our reputation, everything.
There's such a lack of accountability on his personal, from his personal side. Now, I get that people have gone way above and beyond, myself included, right, to bring him down and make people aware of what he did and make him to be held accountable. But he's not saying sorry. He's not saying sorry. He's not saying I did this, or this was the reason I did this, or I did actually do this. He's saying nothing. Throughout the course of this video, he says nothing and yet complains about people who have a problem with him.
I don't think anybody that's online harassing people, writing disgusting things online about somebody has any idea about the damage that it is causing and can cause on the other side of it.
Yeah, is that why your mother spread that rumour that time, right? Is that what happened, is it? When she spread that rumour? Just tell people he's a pedo, alright? Spread some shit about him. That was what was said by your mother, wasn't it? Towards me. And if you hated it so much when you had done the thing, right? Imagine how bad it is to say that about someone who hadn't done the thing.
It's so easy to do. It's so easy to do from your nice, safe home, you know, write something disgusting about somebody on the internet and send it off and it's gone. You don't think about it again. But boom, it does cause so much damage. It's absolutely disgusting. Do you think it's right that my girls are getting ready to start a brand new school year soon? Esme is starting a brand new school entirely. And it's a really massive deal for her. It's a huge deal for Sarah and I's parents. All 3 girls are getting ready to go back to school soon. And instead of being excited about the new school year coming up, instead of being excited about Esme's brand new school year coming up and all the amazing changes she's going to go through or she would be going through, instead of being excited about that, the only thing that Sarah and I are feeling right now is the worst worry and anxiety that you could imagine.
Far be it from me to point out the obvious, Chris, but why does Esme have any knowledge about what's happening? Right? She's just a child. Shouldn't you be shielding this from her? I don't know. Maybe that might be a good parental decision, you know, instead of letting all your children carry the burden of something their daddy did.
About the fact that our children are probably going to go back to school this term and be relentlessly bullied by people, ignorantly and misguidedly, relentlessly bullied by people who misguidedly, completely ignorantly and wrongly think that their dad is a paedophile.
Wrongly, misguidedly, relentlessly and ignorantly. Yeah, no, I mean, he's chosen his words very carefully here because he is using the word paedophile. Is he a paedophile? That's debatable, you know, in this country he's not. But he's not saying sexual predator because that is what he is, irrespective of age group or that these girls happen to be in. He preyed on young teens or, you know, young girls in order to get it, you know, do what he wanted, basically get what he wanted out of it. He preyed on those young girls, and that is what he is, a predator.
Or a kiddie fiddler, or a groomer, or interested in children in an inappropriate way. Like, what parent should ever have to go through that? What child should ever have to go through that? I am not a sexual groomer.
You did, however, sexually groom at least 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 girls that we know of. You know, so to say you're not one of these things, I think it best that you teach yourself what it is to be one of those things.
I am not a paedophile. I am not a kiddie fiddler. I am not a sexual predator or any of the other ridiculous crap that I have seen written about me online.
So, Chris, you're not any of these things. Well, what are you then? Tell us your side, your version of events, right? Because what if, hear me out, okay? A lot of people will say, nah, that's not true, Dougal. But what if none of those messages were true? What if they were made up? What would Chris say in that situation? Probably something along the lines of they were made up. But he's saying nothing. He's saying nothing. Now, would his legal team advise him to say nothing if in fact he was innocent? No, they would say do not say anything because it could be interpreted this way or that way or whatever way, right? But he did in fact send messages. That is the grey area which he's unwilling to address because he knows he sent messages. He can't deny it. He knows also that the girls were 16 plus, so he can get away with it. But he's not denying, he's not saying his version. Maybe these girls misinterpreted what he said. Maybe the girls made up what he said. Maybe something else happened, but he's not saying anything. And that speaks 1,000 words.
Never in my life have I ever done anything that could be even remotely considered that. Not ever. I'm just a normal, hard-working husband and father.
He's not done any of those things ever in his life, but again, he chooses his words so carefully. He doesn't want to say any of the girls' names. He doesn't want to address them in each individually. He doesn't say, I did not message Jess in an inappropriate way. We know that you had interactions with her because you posted her all over your social medias, right? So we know you met her. What actually happened in those messages, Chris? What did you say to her? All right, because sort of threatening to come around to a 16-year-old girl whilst they're on holiday, whilst they're alone in a hotel room, and saying you're going to come around for a party can actually be deemed as quite threatening behaviour. She didn't want you to come around to her hotel room while she was there alone. She didn't want that. And yet you threatened to turn up. So yes, that can actually be quite, you could see why she might not have liked it.
Normal guy, just a straightforward, normal guy. And that's it.
Chris Ingham is just a straightforward, normal guy. Well, fortunately enough, I have a big story coming up soon, which will be released in the next day or so, probably, of the Chris Ingham story. It will be published on my website, followed by the video accompanying it. And it's quite the interesting read / watch. You should keep an eye out for that, because we're going to find out exactly how Chris Ingham has gotten through life.
All of the continued relentless harassment that Sarah and I are facing online at the minute, especially on Twitter, is disgusting. It's absolutely outrageous. And that alone is the only reason Sarah and I no longer have our Twitter accounts. Nothing to do with the fact that we're guilty or ashamed or running away.
You did still have Twitter accounts though, didn't you? You might not have had your own personal ones anymore, or your family one, but you definitely kept one or two around, didn't you? To troll people and say absolutely horrendously disgusting things about people, right? Some of the worst troll accounts ever seen on Twitter came directly from Chris Ingham. And that's a fact, because Sarah's own bestie, Nikki, has revealed everything. And yes, you did troll and harass and hate on people. Lovely man that you are.
Or hiding, or anything like that. Nothing at all to do with that. The only reason we no longer have our Twitter accounts is because we couldn't stand coming online every single day, trying to use our own Twitter accounts as normal, and seeing just the absolute and utter vast amount of crap that was being thrown at us every single day. Complete and utter rubbish. Like, you couldn't even imagine the disgusting things that were being written about us online every single day. People talking about me being some sort of a sexual predator, a paedophile, a groomer, all this sort of stuff constantly, relentlessly. Not even just limited to Sarah and me, but it's our extended families too. My parents, Sarah's parents.
Well, I hate to break this to you, Chris, but your parents, well, Jane at least anyway, was heavily involved in trolling people and was part of your damage limitation team, was also part of your grooming gang, really, if you like. She actually groomed some of your own fans. What, you've never said anything about that? You've never apologised for that one either.
Our aunts and uncles, brothers, sisters, right the way down the family line, there are people dedicating their lives right now to try and taint every single aspect of mine and Sarah's lives in a completely inappropriate, wrong, untrue way. And it's absolutely and utterly disgusting.
And it's still going on today, isn't it? Makes you wish that you just addressed it, really, doesn't it? What could have been, innit?
That alone is the only reason Sarah and I deleted our Twitter accounts. For our own sanity. That's it. All of this all of this continued harassment that Sarah and I are facing every day has turned into nothing other than a witch hunt. It's a witch hunt, and it's absolutely outrageous.
A witch hunt is usually when people are innocent and all the public get together and are like, with the pitchforks. But that's not you, is it? You're not innocent. That's the difference. And you're not saying it. You're just not saying it. You keep refusing to say that you have done these things or even properly address it. You're doing it in such a way that is like, am I this? No. But you're not addressing what the actual allegations are, what you've actually been accused of.
We can't even use our own personal Instagram accounts to show our followers, the people that support us every day, pictures that we want to show them, videos that we want to show them, because when we do, they're just spammed relentlessly with absolutely disgusting comments, untrue statements, and rubbish beyond belief by anonymous accounts, even not anonymous accounts, just people who are completely and utterly misguided in what they're thinking about myself and about Sarah. My phone number and my address was posted online. In fact, this has been done multiple times over the past 2 months, something that shouldn't ever happen to anybody. I had people calling my phone relentlessly, like literally every minute, calling my phone relentlessly.
Who have you been giving your phone number out to, Chris? That's what I would be wondering, you know? Is it all those teen fans and they've turned on you when they've given out your phone number?
Giving me death threats, telling me that they were going to come to my house and set my home on fire in the night with my children in it. They were going to come to my house and harm me in front of my children. They were going to come and do all sorts of things to my property, to my car. They were going to catch me on the street and seriously harm me. People actually turning up at my home address too. And I do want to put this out there that not one single person that has actually come to my home address since my address was posted online has done so in an angry or a nasty way. It's only been people who have come to show support or just people to come and say hi and be nice, people who support us and love us. Nobody of the bad category has turned up or anything like that's happened. But it has got to a stage where Sarah and I don't feel safe in our own home anymore at all. To the point where we've had to put our brand new house, our beautiful home that we love so much, we've had to put it on the market to sell because we can't live there anymore. We just don't feel safe at all. So we need to sell that house and move to somewhere much more private where nobody knows our address and we can feel safe again. Calling somebody publicly the disgusting things and wrong things that people have been calling me is such a dangerous thing to do. It's inciting violence and hatred on such a public level, such a public platform.
Okay then, Chris, so answer me this, right? Now, I'm not saying that people should, whip up a frenzy and go and try and harm you, right? I'm not saying that. I'm not suggesting that actually happens. I'm not saying it's a good thing. But what would you do, right? Are you suggesting in your little warped little brain that you should be entitled to do whatever you want to whomever you want and have no repercussions? Is that actually what you're trying to say?
That I could have literally anybody walk up to me in the street without warning and attack me and seriously harm me.
And that, everybody, is exactly why for a long period after this, he never ever went out without one of his kids. Now that is the mark of a true man, that is. He needs protection from his kids because he knows that nobody will harm him whilst he's got his kids there with him. Right, but that's also at the same time he knows putting his kids in harm's way. So
they even kill me, all because they've got some misguided and wrong idea that I'm interested in children or that I'm some kind of sexual predator.
And you're not a sexual predator, right? Am I right? Is that what I'm gathering from this? You're not actually saying the words that I'm wanting to hear. I'm not hearing, I messaged this girl and she twisted it. I messaged this girl And that's not what I said to her. I didn't ask her to leave her hotel room in the middle of the night. I didn't ask her to go skinny dipping. I didn't threaten to come round to have a party while she was home alone. I didn't do any of those things. But what I'm hearing is blah, blah, blah. I'm not interested in children. On a technicality.
From all of this rubbish that's online, which is just completely and utterly untrue and wrong. Nobody would know this from my vlogs that we put out every day, but behind the camera, I'm a complete and utter wreck right now. I've lost all of my confidence in myself. I've lost all of the confidence and love for what we do, and I'm constantly living in fear. Fear of somebody turning up at my house or somewhere I'm out in the street to hurt me. Fear of the next set of harassing statements online. Fear of the next small YouTuber trying to use my name.
Why would a YouTuber using your name to put out a video put you in fear? You know, all they're doing is talking about a situation which you created, and that's what they're doing, basically what I'm doing, right? And yet that's putting you in fear. Again, why not address the situation?
In a defamatory and wrong way for their own personal gain. How has that become acceptable nowadays? Smaller YouTubers that maybe get 100 to 200 views per video now do a video on exposing Chris Ingham and they get a couple of 100,000 views.
That's just clever marketing, Chris. Clever marketing. You know, you use titles which are going to get you views. That's what YouTubing is all about, right? That's what you've always told us.
So the same small YouTuber then does multiple videos using my name in the title, exposing Chris Ingham version 2 or whatever it may be, and they keep these views rolling in and rolling in, all just to gain their own personal following.
Well, may I just remind you, Chris, that you once did a pregnancy-related video, and then you continued doing so time and time again because the first one got your views, right? And then you did another wrong video because it got you views. You posted your kids in the bath and then it got you views, and then you did another bath time video because that gets you views. You know, that's what you did. Every single time you found something which would gain you more views.
To increase their own public profile, to earn money from monetization, whatever it might be, but without a second's thought to all of the damage that video is having on the other side of it.
And yet you film your kids in a state of undress for years and years and years without a single thought about how that is going to affect your own kids.
Not one single thought to the repercussions that they're having on myself, on my children, on my pregnant wife. My anxiety right now is on an all-time high. It's no secret to anybody that I struggled very badly in my late teens, especially with OCD. I am yet to do a video on that. I am going to do that. But it's no secret to anybody that I used to struggle very badly with my mental health when I was younger. And right now, my mental health is on an all-time low, to the point where I'm having to take anti-anxiety medication every single day.
Just flash up those meds, Chris. Flash up those meds. Get a little bit more sympathy in. Yeah, I think you haven't got enough sympathy yet. You've talked about your poor kids, your poor innocent kids. You talked all about how this has affected them and how it's affected you now. And you've flashed up your meds there. Got to get that sympathy, because otherwise people might think that you're guilty.
Just to get me through the day. And then this past weekend happened. When we arrived in Australia. As we arrived in Australia, we all came through immigration together. I was asked to step to one side, and Sarah and the girls were told that they could carry on and enter the country, and they were fine. But I was taken to a holding cell. I was stripped of my phones, stripped of my computer, my iPads, and everything else that I had on me. I was put in a holding cell, and I was left there for 3 hours, not knowing why I was being held, not being told anything at all, absolutely terrified.
And this was the straw that broke the camel's back. He got bunged into that little holding cell, you know, with the bars on the windows, and he was treated like a proper criminal. common crim he was. Not at all because he's guilty, not saying he's guilty. Obviously they let him through in the end. Didn't have anything on his devices which might suggest that he's into little kids. But he is in fact into 16 plus. Only just 16 plus.
And scared out of my mind. My poor wife, who is very early pregnant, who hadn't been to sleep all night. We'd had a night flight the night before. None of us had slept. We'd arrived at 7 a.m. into Australia, and she'd been told to go out into the terminal, and her husband had been taken away, and she was left there also with 3 children who were desperate to know where their dad was, why I'd been taken away. Sarah, worried out of her mind, no idea what's happening with me. Nobody told her anything. Nobody was talking to her at all. So she was worried sick for 3 hours. My pregnant wife who hadn't slept.
My pregnant wife. My poor innocent children. My poor innocent anxiety brain. But not anything in any of this I'm hearing is, I did it, I'm sorry, I'm just sorry. No, not 1 ounce of accountability in the entire video.
Who is suffering so badly right now with morning sickness. She had to sit in an airport terminal on her own with 3 children who were desperately anxious and terrified about where their dad was. She had to sit there and worry for 3 or more hours, having no idea where I was, what was going on with me, why I was being held. Nothing. Until after around 3 hours, I was told that the reason I was being held was because somebody had made some kind of anonymous tip-off to Border Force in Australia that I had been apparently on the run from the UK police for grooming young girls in the UK, or something along them lines, something disgusting like that, and that they had to investigate those claims before that they could let me into the country. They had stripped and downloaded every piece of personal and private information from my phones, my computer, my iPads, interviewed me numerous times, for which I told them the full story of what's been going on with me for the past 2 months. They found absolutely nothing on any of my devices whatsoever. The police back home confirmed also that I certainly was not on the run from them for anything, and that they were not investigating me for anything, and had never been investigating me for anything. And with an apology, after more than 4 hours, I was allowed to enter the country and go. I was told, semi-reassuringly, that apparently this kind of thing isn't uncommon. An ex-girlfriend is mad at her ex-boyfriend for whatever reason who's travelling into a country. So she drops an anonymous tip-off to the border force of that country that he's carrying something he shouldn't be, perhaps, and the boyfriend gets stopped and investigated before they can be let in the country. It was without doubt the most scary, surreal and terrifying thing that I've ever been through in my entire life. The entire 4 hours, I was just sick. I couldn't believe what was happening. We just spent the whole night excited about the fact that we were about to start our adventure in Australia, somewhere we've never been to before, somewhere we've saved up for months to be able to afford, somewhere we've looked forward to and talked about for months, somewhere we've planned to give Isabel the best 13th birthday that she can ever have, because that's the reason for this trip, is for Isabel. And so that we can give her the 13th birthday that we want to give her. All of that was about to be destroyed. All of that was about to be destroyed. I had no idea if I was going to see my family again, or what was going to happen to me, where I was going to be sent. Not to mention my poor pregnant wife, who was left for more than 4 hours, not knowing anything at all. Nobody spoke to her. She had no clue about why I was being kept, if she was going to see me again, where I was, what was happening with me. She was going out of her mind with worry. Her and my children went through absolute hell. At the start of something that should have been so happy and so positive, they went through absolute hell. And that is not acceptable on any level. That is way beyond harassment. It's way beyond anything that anybody should ever have to endure. And anybody watching this right now that thinks that calling an anonymous false and fake wrong tip into a border force and having that happen to a family, anybody that thinks that that is acceptable to do that to a family, then...
Now, I happen to think that it's wrong for the family to go through it, but do you think it's wrong for your family to go through it because of what you did, Chris? I'm not saying that the person who called the tip into the border control in Australia did so correctly or that they should have done so, but everything stops with you. Every single thing that's happened has happened because of you. Not because of other people. Stop blaming other people. It's because of you.
I just don't have any words for that. I am constantly terrified at the minute that the stress of everything that's going on, the stress of all of this relentless hounding that Sarah and I are being faced with right now. I'm so terrified that this is going to cause her to miscarry our baby. She's under the worst stress that I could ever imagine a new mum having to be under. No one who is newly pregnant, no one at all should ever have to go through stress like this, let alone when you've just found out you're pregnant, and you should be celebrating and enjoying this new amazing chapter in your life. No pregnant mum should have to deal with the stress that is on Sarah's head constantly at the minute because of all this. And I am just terrified every single day that this relentless hounding that we're going through right now is going to cause her to miscarry our baby. The fact of the matter is that all of these people who are hounding me right now and hounding Sarah right now, all of the people that are posting these disgusting, wrong, completely incorrect and defamatory statements about me online right now, the ones that are trying so hard to destroy the Ingham family, why? Why would anybody want to do that to a family? Why would anybody want to do that to poor, innocent children?
I'll reiterate, Chris. Poor, innocent children. They are innocent, you know, but it was you that did it. You cheated on their mother. You sent messages to teen girls trying to get in their pants. That is what you did. But you're still here saying, oh, my poor innocent children, they didn't deserve anything that I did. But I'm still not going to apologise.
Why would anybody want to do that to anybody at all? Because let's be real about it. If you succeeded in destroying the Ingham family, you destroyed our business. We'd lose our home. We'd lose our house. The girls would lose their school. The two places that the girls feel safe, secure, and happy at, they would lose all of that.
Wow. Just wow. That's next level emotional manipulation, that is. If you destroy the Ingham family as a business, we lose our house. We lose our home. We lose our jobs, our income. The kids, they lose their school. They just feel safe and secure when they go to school, but no, not anymore because of you haters. Yeah, I didn't do anything wrong, but you haters, you are doing this to my children.
We would lose everything. Everything that Sarah and I have killed ourselves over to create and build for our children's future over the last 2 years. All of that, everything would be gone. Why would anybody want to do that to anybody? Especially children. Especially my children. Especially my child that's on the way. My pregnant wife. Why would anybody want to harm and hurt a family in that way? Because at the end of the day, that's what you're doing. You're destroying my children, my unborn child that's on the way. They're the people that you're damaging right now and that you're hurting.
Oh, I just can't take much more of this. I can't take much more of it. The lack of accountability, the lack of understanding of what he did is just insane. It's off the charts. It's off the charts. You know what he hasn't said through the whole thing is that he didn't do it. Right? He didn't do it. He said, I'm not a sexual predator. He didn't say that he didn't send the messages.
Why would anybody want to do that? especially to children. This is not just saying words online anymore. This has gone way, way past that, and it needs to stop now. I would just like to take a minute to say thank you to everybody that has supported me, supported Sarah and our girls through all of this from the very start. Every single one of you that watches our videos every day, thank you so, so much. That alone means more to us than we could ever tell you. We could never thank you enough for that, for your continued love, your continued support on every single thing that we do. Thank you so, so much from the bottom of all of our hearts. And lastly, if you are a minor and you feel you may have been experiencing any type of sexual grooming or sexual abuse of any kind, please go about reporting it the right way. I'm going to leave some links in the description box below for anybody that might feel that they need to use them.
So that was Chris Ingham back in 2018 trying to defend his corner. I don't think he did a very good job of it, because it just incited more hate, and something that lasted 7 years. Just lasted 7 years, and they're still going, but only just. It's like the car that is just like stuttering, trying to get started. It just doesn't work anymore. But the main thing to take away from this is, yep, he used every trick in the book to try and gain sympathy. My poor kids, my poor innocent children, my poor pregnant wife, my poor pregnant self. I didn't say he's pregnant, but his poor self, right? And yet, not once during the whole thing did he say, I did this, I'm sorry, or even say that he did do it. Or even say he sent messages. He didn't say he didn't send messages. That is the key that you need to remember. He didn't say that he didn't do it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I know that you have some. I know it's an old video, but I thought I'd give my opinion on it today, and let me know what you think as well about it, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Until next time, have an amazing day, take care of yourselves, and bye bye.